of the members by the superintendent, a reading of the school board prayer, and then the leading of the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Joshua Hebert, Vice President.
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Lewis? Here. Mr. Meyer?
Here.
Mrs. Barra? She is here. Ms. Alexis? Here. Mr. Hebert?
Here.
Mr. Washington?
Here.
Mrs. Hood?
Here.
Mrs. Arso?
Here.
Mrs. Dugas? Here. Madam President, you have a quorum.
Heavenly Father, as we approach the final weeks of this school year, we come to you with hearts full of gratitude. Thank you for the journey we've traveled together, for the lessons learned, and for the relationships that have grown along the way. In these precious last times, help us to pause and treasure the moments, the final projects, the shared laughter, and the milestones that mark the school year. Let us be mindful of the impact these times have on our students, families, and staff, especially our 2025 seniors, as they embrace their final moments in this chapter of their lives. Guide each and every student with strength and courage as they step forward into new opportunities, whether it be new environments, new challenges, or the new stages of their journeys. Fill their hearts with hope and confidence for the future that awaits them. Bless our community with kindness and care, reminding us to lift one another up. May we walk forward together with joy and faith, trusting in your plans for each of us. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda, adoption of the agenda. I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Orso. Second by Mr. Hebert. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 3, consent agenda. Minutes of April 2nd, 2025 school board meeting and adoption of the consent agenda. Need a motion?
Madam President, if also in order, I move that we accept the consent agenda as it is presented. Second.
First by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Myers. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 4, reports and recognition. A, adopt a resolution of sympathy for Ms. Diane Pelche.
Resolution reads as such, whereas we, the members of Assumption Parish School Board, have learned the untimely death of Ms. Diane Pelche, an outstanding employee and citizen of Assumption Parish, whereby her devotion and loyalty, she had come to be recognized as a most valuable asset to the Assumption Parish family of public educators. And whereas Ms. Pelche served Assumption Parish School Board for 11 years, and whereas her life was a record of service and devotion to children, community, and family, her loss will be shared by all who cherish the education of the young, especially the young of Assumption Parish. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Assumption Parish School Board deeply regrets the untimely loss of a true friend and servant to public education and offers her family our deepest sympathy in their time of grief. Be it further resolved that a copy of this expression of sympathy is presented to the family with our deepest condolences. And I want to say, Ms. Pelche, she served as a school bus driver for 11 years in Assumption Parish. Family. We're going to take one picture for the paper, and then we're going to allow the family an opportunity to speak if they would like.
Okay. Thank you.
And again, we give family members, anyone would like to say anything, you can.
Okay. We'd just like to say thank y'all for recognizing.
And I'll just follow with that I don't know how many of you knew our mother, but she loved driving a bus. One of the things that she would do is, back in the day, which she can't do today, oftentimes she would bring children home. And, we always heard stories about her taking the kids home and bringing them, back to their house later on that evening. We know today that wouldn't go. You couldn't do that today. But anyway, she truly loved being a bus driver.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for the recognition.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
She was a great people person. Everybody loved her. The children were so glad to be on her bus. They enjoyed their day every day, and she made their morning special. So thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
B, adopt a resolution of sympathy for Charlotte Blanchard.
Thank you, Madam President. Whereas we, the members of Assumption Parish School Board, have learned of the untimely death of Ms. Charlotte Blanchard, an outstanding employee and citizen of Assumption Parish. Whereas by her devotion and loyalty, she had come to be recognized as the most valuable asset to the Assumption Parish family of public educators. And whereas Mrs. Blanchard served Assumption Parish School Board for 20 years. And whereas her life was a record of service, devotion to children, community, and family, her loss will be shared by all who cherish the education of the young, especially the young of Assumption Parish. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Assumption Parish School Board deeply regrets the untimely loss of a true friend and servant to public education and offers her family our deepest sympathy in a time of grief. Be it further resolved that a copy of this expression of sympathy is presented to the family with our deepest condolences. And Ms. Blanchard served Assumption Parish for 20 years in our food service department. Family, please come forward. If you would like to say anything, you could say anything you would like.
She worked in the food service. She really loved kids. No kid ever went without. She made sure she always kept a little change in her pocket for cookies.
Oh, my God. God bless you all, dear.
So Miss Charlotte's daughter, Miss Nikki, was a sped teacher in the parish and was also a diagnostician until she moved to a different state last year. So she does have something she would like to say, but she's in New Hampshire, so we're gonna try and call her and see if the service works. If not, I'll read it because she did send it to me. Let's see. See how's that?
Hello.
Oh, I think it's gonna work, Nikki.
Oh, nice.
So whenever you're ready.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to say I miss you guys terribly. Thank you so much for being here today as we remember and celebrate the life of my mom, Charlotte. Many of you knew her from LPS, LMS, and AHS. She worked in the cafeteria for many years, and I know she became a familiar face to so many students and staff. But to my family, she was more than just the lady behind the lunch line. She was the one to wake up before the sun every day, packed her pride and her kindness into her hairnet and her apron, and went to work with a heart full of love. Mom had this quiet way of showing how much she cared. It wasn't in big speeches or grand gestures. It was in the extra scoop of mashed potatoes for a kid who looked like they were having a rough day. It was in the way she remembered who liked what. No gravy for you, extra fruit for another person. And it was always in the way she treated everyone with the same warmth and respect, whether they were a first grader or the principal of the school. The cafeteria might not be the first place people think of when they talk about changing lives, but my mom proved that kindness doesn't need a big stage. She gave comfort, nourishment, and a little bit of joy to hundreds of kids every day. And she did it with a smile that made people feel at home. To her coworkers, she was a friend. To the kids, she was a favorite. And to me, she was everything. Mom, thank you for teaching me that what you do matters less than how you do it. With love, humility, and heart, we miss you terribly, but your spirit is still here. In every warm meal, every kind word, and every moment of care we give to others. We love you, Mom, and we always will. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you. God bless you, baby.
Wow. Very passionate.
C, recognize and honor Alea Washington, fourth grade student at NPS, for winning WAFB Channel 9 Color the Weather.
He's here.
Miss Chanel, Miss Alea.
This is the original masterpiece. You want to show it to everybody? Because it should be. Show it to everybody. Tell everybody what it is.
It's a picture of a panda umbrella and me and my mom and my grandmother standing under it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Chanel works in our office, and when she told me the news, her daughter's like our daughter, so we all excited and pumped up because she comes over, and we celebrate in her joy as well, in her accomplishment. Phenomenal job. Congratulations on your recognition.
Excellent.
Yeah, let me tell you, you're in good company because I think that program has been around a long time.
Yes, it
and
is.
I always wanted my picture to be on TV, and I never got it. And we're very proud of you. That's a great thing you did.
Yes, indeed. Keep trying, huh?
I'll get some pointers. I'll get some pointers.
You can get it. They're not gonna know. They're not gonna know. You said your name.
D, recognize and honor Assumption High School FFA members for winning various career development events.
Good evening. As some of you, most of you know, my name is Sadie Phelps. I'm one of two ag teachers here at Assumption High School. This is my coworker, Miss Fallon Smith, who's been with us a couple of years. And then I also wanted to recognize Miss Elena Ruiz, who has been a student teacher with us from Louisiana State University. She's going to be graduating July. Yeah, July. She's got one summer course and she graduates, but she'll be going to work for St. James this year. So she's been a big help, and I wanted to introduce them because all of us have been instrumental in working with these kids and getting them ready for the different competitions that they have been a part of. I'm also going to introduce our chapter president, Miss Sydney Phelps. She is going to read a little bit about what each student does, and as she reads them, the students will stand up so you can kind of recognize who they are, and we'll take a little picture after. And I'll probably have a little add-on after she finishes her introduction. So thank you all for allowing us to be recognized tonight.
Thank you, Sadie.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Phelps. I'm Assumption FFA's chapter president, and tonight I'm going to introduce our state-winning CDE teams. Each year, FFA members compete in judging contests in an effort to expand their knowledge and experiences in selected areas of agriculture. These events, called career development events, provide opportunities for competition at the local, area, state, and national levels. This year, Assumption FFA members competed in 9 different career development events. In Go Teach Ag, we had Anna Abair, who competed at the district and area levels, which qualified her for state, where she placed 3rd. In Creed Speaking, we had Kennedy Crochet. In Creed Speaking, we had Kennedy Crochet and Ava Phelps, who competed at the district and area levels and qualified for state, where Kennedy placed 2nd and Ava placed 3rd. In Welding, we had Evan O'Quinn, Dwight Broussard, Seth Boudreau, Brady Gautreau, Cohen Pipser, and Keegan Tomplay, who competed at the district and area contests, where Keegan and Brady actually qualified for state and placed 10th. In veterinary science, we had Tyler Ashworth, Charlie Boudreau, Karen Garnica, Stephanie Garnica, Ella Hahn, Anna Abair, Sydney Phelps, and Ashlyn Tompley, who competed at the area contest where both of our little teams placed first and fourth, which qualified them both for state. And our blue team actually won the state, so now we get to represent Louisiana at the national level this year. Evaluation, we had Coda Brown, Hallie Claus, Michaela Como, Kennedy Crochet, Michael Eno, Callie Labat, Megan LeBlanc, and Ava Phelps. So both of these teams competed at area where they placed third and fourth, which qualified them both for state, and they placed 9th and 16th. In livestock evaluation, we had Charlie Boudreau, Michaela Como, Sydney Phelps, and Ella Rivera, and we competed at the state contest where we placed second in the area and 7th in the state. For our dairy cattle evaluation, we had Rylan Campo, Gabby Rios, Ava Phelps, and Ella Rivera, and they competed at the state contest where they placed second in the area and 4th in the state. For land judging, we had Luke Sedetol, Zoe Danos, Michael Eno, Anna Abair, Kane Kern, Colton Metrogene, Sydney Phelps, and Jacayla Williams. And these two teams, we competed at the state soils, and we placed 4th and 18th. And our blue team, who placed 4th, actually qualified to go to nationals, which we will be leaving to go to in 2 weeks to compete on the national level. I really appreciate you guys recognizing us on the state school board. Yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Our students could be here tonight, but this was just a small spectrum of what we do here at Assumption High School. And so I thought it was an incredible year for us to have, like, you can participate with at least 2 teams in most of your competitions, but to qualify 2 teams going into a state contest is almost like, you know, qualifying a playoff team and getting them there, you know, half the battle. So sometimes like livestock and things like that, they're competing on a state level against sometimes 50 teams and still placing in the top 10 in their divisions, which is really awesome. And we don't get to have, like, you know, 4A, 3A, you compete. No, it's everybody against everybody. So we were excited about this year. Having 2 teams qualify for national events was pretty awesome. And I also want to say, my welding boys, I was super proud of them. They're in night class right now, and they're going to go back and weld, like, right when they leave here. And they actually have gone through different qualifications and have done level, Brady has certified in level 1 and in pipe, and then Keegan has level 1 and is working towards pipe. So these guys are going into industry and they're going to be working hard soon. So it's exciting for them. And Keegan is in 11th grade and Brady's a senior this year graduating. So I'm proud of all of these kids. And I also want Sydney, Anna, Ella, Megan, can y'all stand up, please? These guys have helped train the teams that have done this well. So I can say that me and Miss Fallon and Miss Ruiz have done some work, but these kids have taken initiative. They've set up competitions. They've worked hard on the school level and stepped up and have been tremendous leaders on their teams. So I'm super excited for the work that these guys have done as well, helping with dairy cattle, with livestock, with poultry, soils, and with vet science. So it's a testament to them as well on them training teams and doing what they've done. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, the teachers. Oh, what work on-
Thank you, Ms. Phelps, for everything you do for these children. Look, our FFA would not be what it is today without y'all being so passionate about what y'all do. So thank you all.
Say congratulations to all of our students, outstanding job, and I really envy you all because I love the leadership that you display each and every day and the dedication that you have to your craft. So, and it shows. And, you know, my little experience with FFA and being a part of Ag Day and things like that, you all blow me away. So congratulations, great recognition, well deserved, and I know you're going to represent your families, the school, as well as the system well. Thank you.
Very impressive to see the participation we have in such a small school district. So I'm very proud, and I'm very proud to go back to St. Mary and brag on y'all.
Moving on, policy and procedures. A, receive information on establishing board committees.
This is just for informational purposes. I know Mr. Hebert had mentioned looking into establishing committees for the board. So this is just for information purposes. I think as we continue to grow as a board and introduce committees and things like that, because right now we have committee of the whole, basically, where everyone hears everything at the same time. So if this is something that the board definitely would like to explore, we could definitely have more conversation. But I just wanted to give some framework after talking to Dr. Pope at LSBA. This is what she provided to us. So anything that we can take away from this or grow from this, just let me know, and we could move forward. So thank you.
Yeah, the reason for the ask was just to make our board more proactive and involved in, you know, the decisions that we're a part of and have to make. And that way, because we haven't had a committee meeting for a while on anything, so this gives us more proactivity, being more involved with the superintendent and his team to make sure that we know exactly what we're doing, and we hold ourselves accountable to the information, and we can meet more candidly with the leadership team. That way, we know and can make the right decisions. So, and the main thing is to be more proactive and be involved and not be a reactive board.
Thank you. B, approve LEA Title V1 compliance certification.
I'm gonna let you just do the.
I need a motion
So move.
by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Hebert. Discussion, conversation.
Just a brief overview, I know you had it on board docs. This was a certification that was received from the Louisiana Department of Education in conjunction with the United States Department of Education. Basically just saying that we are in adherence to any current and/or future federal statutes related to non-discrimination. So in order to continue to receive federal funds, the state superintendent asked that we sign the certification so that way it can be submitted by the deadline of April 21st to the feds. So any questions on that? So we're just going to authorize the appropriate parties to sign and get it from the board.
Thank you, Council.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on, 6, budget. A, approve request for assistance in funding the 2025 operation of the District Attorney's Office. I need a motion by Ms. Dugas,
Second. You got everybody.
second by the
Everybody
board, Ms.
first and
Orso.
I wish my job was like that.
No discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? B, receive information on adopting current millage rates.
This is just a formality that we have to go through. Mr. Dow is going to give us a little more information.
Good evening. So we are presenting this for information tonight. At the next meeting, we are asking that we're going to take a vote and that you approve to levy the current millage rates. The protocol set forth by Louisiana law, which the legislative auditor carries out is very specific when dealing with millages. Some years you're in a roll forward year, you may choose to roll backward. This year, we're just levying the millages. So even this, the document is very specific that you all have in front of you. It states the amount of revenues that we anticipate that it will create. And this is all done for voter transparency and taxpayer transparency in the parish and around the state. It also states the date and time of place where all of this will take place. This particular levy, all is required is that we post it on the website and post it on the door 24 hours before. When we roll forward, it's a whole different protocol where we advertise for 3 weeks, advertise by radio and various other things. So this is what's prescribed by law. Next week when we come back, well, at the next meeting when we come back to this, Ms. Melissa will take a roll call vote of each one of you individually. That is what is prescribed by the law, so that's what we're going to fulfill. So just for your information, this is what we're looking at.
Thank you.
Sir? Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Dow.
C, authorize the superintendent to schedule a finance committee meeting on May 7th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Need a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Barris, second by Ms. Orso. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? D, receive March 2025 sales and use tax report. Mr. Dowell?
Sales tax report for the month of March 2025. Total returns processed, 2,103. Monthly, 1,257. Quarterly, 72. Irregular, 755. Semi-annual is 19. Total number of online filers, included in the total, 1,948. Total receipts for the month of March 2025 are $1,151,293.06, a decrease of $225,180.69 compared to this time last year. That is a 16% decrease. Total collections less audits is a 14.15% decrease and a total collections less OMV and audits minus 18%. The school board received $572,050.55, a decrease of $112,897.75, a percentage change of 16%. The 92 bond fund received $114,410.03, a decrease of $22,579.45 compared to last year, a percentage change decrease of 16%. The delinquent rate for the month of March 2025 is 6%. Industries that had an increase as compared to March 2024 were food, apparel, automotive, and equipment. Industries that had a decrease were general merchandise, contractors, service, manufacturers, utilities, miscellaneous, and unclassified. Audit revenues for the month of March 2025 are zero compared to audit revenues March 2024, $35,415.33. Auto sales for the month of March 2025 were $219,717 compared to last year at this time, $199,214. That is a percentage change of 10.29%.
Thank you, sir. 7, facilities and grounds. A, receive information on the main entrance, bus ramp, canopy design, a path forward, and an updated timeframe with additional days requested with a new completion date.
Mr. Joseph? So, Madam President, Board, I'm bringing these items forward so everyone could be aware of where we are and the multiple projects that we have, so we can get an update on each item. Mr. Savoy?
All right. We'll take them in order, I guess. On item A, you have received additional information on the main entrance bus canopy and a path forward at updated timeframe and schedule. As it stands right now, I do not have an approved submittal from the contractor on the canopy. There have been discussions going back and forth regarding the canopy, and administration had requested a upgrade of the canopy to aluminum to see what that cost was. We received that cost, we analyzed it, we looked at it. It was excessive for what we were trying to do at the time. The contractor had requested some additional structural drawings to clarify some things. Those were provided to him. At this time, we are awaiting that submittal from him and an update on where that timing falls. Later on in my report that you all received, you'll see that I plan on providing you with a further detailed report which will break that down as well as the timeframes. I was just trying to keep it concise for the purposes of the meeting.
Do you have just one quick question, Do you have a time frame of when this will be resolved?
My plan is to have this resolved the week that we come back from the Easter holiday.
What is that resolution, resolve, what does that mean?
That resolve, we will have to have a meeting with the contractor. Currently, the canopy system that he has in question was a unit price bid. His unit price bid for that work on the canopy was $278,308. I have requested, he has corresponded to me that he had some difficulty or was not going to be able to construct the canopy as shown. However, the issue I have there is he presented a price and signed a contract to do so. So I have requested of him to provide to me what he bid for $278,308. That is what is currently in discussion. There have been emails going back and forth. The last discussion I had with him, we provided him some additional details and drawings, stamped and signed by me. Providing the additional information he requested, I'm simply awaiting his submittal so we can evaluate it and know a proper time frame. The path forward that I'm looking at is that if this cannot be resolved in the week post the Easter holiday, then I will be coming to this board with a recommendation of the options laid before you according to your contract. It is a unit price bid. You have the right to deduct, change order that item from him, and at that point we would retract that money from the contract, and in which case we would have to go and seek another contractor to construct that canopy. That is an option. I'm not making that recommendation tonight.
Right.
It is something I want to have a discussion with the contractor and find out exactly where he is as far as his delivery of materials and so forth.
Mr. Joseph, was the issue that the design had to be clarified and detailed more? Because I know we got a design back that did not look like what was presented to us initially in the render, and then that had to be redone. So is that the issue? Was the design the issue? Or was the issue that he didn't have enough information in the design to complete it or carry it out?
I think it was a combination of a little bit of both. To be honest, I can't speak for the contractor as what he wasn't understanding, but we have that often happens when people bid jobs. They bid plans and so forth. They have the 30-day period of which they're bidding, of which to submit any questions or so forth. In fact, we had contractors that did request additional design or clarifications on design of the drawings. We issued an addendum as of such prior to the bid. I had no questions prior to the bid nor prior to signing a contract with the current contractor. So according to contract and how I see that is you accept and understand how that canopy is to be built. Not trying to be difficult here because we need to move forward and we need to get this building built. So I have requested of the contractor to please provide to me what he is proposing to build for the $278,308 that he bid.
What's your deadline for him on that?
Hmm?
What's your deadline for him?
I requested it of it several weeks ago. We've been in discussions. I haven't received it to date. So these things, those are the things that I would like to go into discussion the week out. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town for the next 2 days. I will be returning after the Easter holiday, and I plan on setting a meeting with the contractor to hopefully come to a swift resolution on these items.
Well, here's the thing. Go ahead. Here's the thing. We're not going to wait very much longer for these things to keep going on. So if we're going to say give somebody a deadline, let's give it to them and hold them to it, and then go after them. Anybody who's going to delay any process or give us anything like this, we need to hold them to the standard. And if you're going to say we went back and forth, emails went out, calls went out. If they're not meeting the deadline, the superintendent needs to get an email log with timestamps, phone log with timestamps, so that we can hold anyone accountable that's delaying the process or not getting us what we need on time.
Not a problem.
That's, as fiduciary board that's responsible for carrying these things out, we've approved these funds, the contracts are signed, any revisions that need come to the board. We need to know what's going on, because we're just sitting here 2 weeks at a time and getting updates, but we need to know deadlines, and I want a log, communication log saying, so we can hold these people accountable. For
No problem.
anybody who's accountable, including yourself.
That, absolutely.
Okay? Because this is going too long, and if we have a problem, we need to fix it. Not in 2 weeks.
100%
When
agree.
we meet again. we need to fix
100%
it.
agree, and I have no issue. I will turn over the email logs and documentation that we have.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to B, receive information on the design change and path forward with additional days requested for the front wall of the two-story building, resulting in a change order.
Yes. In my report, on the front wall of the school, during the removal of the wall boards and so forth, there was additional rotten steel framing. If any of you will recall, that particular two-story building, the initial framing on the interior between the structural columns was non-structural glass framing. I can't speak to as to why that non-structural metal framing was left behind that particular front wall. That was done at the last time the building was renovated. At all other sections, it was removed, and even on the previous plans, it was indicated to be removed. Not sure why it was there. However, the contractor uncovered it. As soon as he uncovered it, we had to do an investigation to see if there was any structural remnants or anything before we proceed with opening that wall. Also with that, the contractor was delayed because A, we had to do an investigation, and B, we had inclement weather approaching, and so he was unable to uncover that wall in a timely manner because we don't want to rip it open and be exposed to, and have the interior of the building exposed to damage. So that being the case, we requested a change order immediately from the contractor once we determined what the issue was. We provided him with a detailed design drawing to do so. He provided a change order cost. The cost for that removal is $11,106. And with that, we are requesting allowing him 10 days. That would allow 5 days for the actual removal and the 5 days of loss that he had for the 2 to 3 days of our investigation. Plus, he's had to wait also for a board meeting approval. So we are recommending that as part of the upcoming change order. It is included in the change order that is listed further down.
Again, to Mr. Joseph, we need to make this our modus operandi going forward. The roofing project we had, we uncovered things that we needed to do. So whenever every project we have, it seems like there's something that was left, something else that's rotting. We need to make sure that the contractors know what they're walking into, and we don't, that way they know up front. This is probably not going to be a straightforward job, so that we can, maybe they can get on it a little quicker if we put fire to them. Every time we have a project, there's like another rotten piece of something a contractor left there they weren't supposed to, or an engineer left there they weren't supposed to. So they have, especially contractors that are not from here that we're using, they need to know up front, and it may be something that y'all discuss in your meetings. I'm sure Dwayne has been here for a long time, which is why we trust him with our facilities. But we can't delay a project a month because of something that could
Not,
take 3
not,
days.
not trying to, not trying to delay
I
this
don't,
project a month.
I don't see where you could say, hey, we got stuff that we don't know about.
It's
That's
assumed. These buildings are old enough to where you can assume.
I realize
you can
it's
assume.
assumed, you know what assumed, you know, it's.
Unfortunately, you can't assume. They have to
You can't
build.
assume there's something like that. That is old buildings. So you can't hold him accountable when they find stuff that's wrong and they got to fix it.
Anybody who's accountable. I'm not saying Joseph's accountable. All right.
But in this case, I don't feel that it's not the contractor's error or responsibility. He uncovered the damage. He notified us immediately. We went out there immediately. I have personnel on site daily to address it. It did take us a little bit longer than we anticipated to investigate the full extent of it, to come up with a solution that was amicable. The original solution, we knew we had a timber wall that was newly constructed by a previous project that we intended on securing the brick to. Unfortunately, we couldn't determine how far back that was to find out whether or not that could happen. Upon further, it took a little bit of investigation, but once we were able to determine that, then we could provide him with the structural detail that he needed to make those repairs.
When was it identified? What was the date it was identified, do you know?
I'll have to go back and, I have that written in a report, a daily report. I'll have to give you that date. I do not have that date this evening.
Okay. Receive information on design change to rear stairwell.
Yes, this was identified last week. We have one of the stair rails on the rear stair rail railing is deteriorated further than anticipated. If you go out and look at the steel handrails, they are deteriorated. There's a lot of flaking. There's a lot of scaling and so forth. The plan is to blast those handrails and paint them. However, we did. In investigating them, we found some additional pitting that went a little deeper. If we go and sandblast that, it's going to blow a hole in it. So we have requested that the contractor replace that section of railing in lieu of some hide panels. We had initially proposed to put hide panels down the sides of the stairwell. After further looking at it, administration decided that may be an invitation for vandalism. And so they chose to remove those. The contractor has graciously offered to replace the damaged section of handrail in lieu of the cost of the bright metal panels. So we're presenting that as a no-cost change order. And that's being presented on the change order just for documentation so that there's no question coming back as to what was done and why it was done.
The condition of that, was that assessed on the initial inspection or recently?
It was assessed on the initial inspection and recently. You have to understand, when the original design started, this project was bid twice. We've had several years have gone by, so things get worse.
Yep. I just want to make sure it was identified.
No, yes, sir, it was.
Initially,
Okay. Receive information on interior work to be completed in the two-story building.
The interior is of the utmost importance. In discussions with Dwayne and the superintendent, the goal here is we need to get occupancy in this building. I understand that all contracts have deadlines and so forth, but when it comes to the critical path of work, the critical path has been clearly identified to us as complete the interior of this building and get in as soon as possible to allow Dwayne, his crews, to do their necessary due diligence and move equipment in as needed. So that is the main focus. While there are some delays due to rain, inclement weather, and other issues that have arisen on the outside of the building, the main focus still is and will continue to be complete the interior as soon as possible. The contractor, as of today, they were installing drop ceiling on the second floor. That means that HVAC work and the wiring work is coming to a near completion there. We're waiting for an updated schedule. We will have another site meeting to see where we are on the lower levels. In the site meetings, his subcontractors as well as he have a clear outline of how they propose to do that and where they're moving forward with those with that interior work. In conjunction to the interior work, the contractor has also gone ahead and started forming up for pouring of all of the HVAC paths to get those in place. Once he can do that, that means he can connect those HVAC units, get them up and running. That's the goal.
So there's a delay expected on this that you're going to let us know next meeting, or are they still on track to finish?
There's, as I see it, according to the contractor's schedule that he was presented at the last meeting, if he stays on that, he is on track to finish that interior according to the somewhere around that original date as it is presented. Further down, when you start talking about delays in time, and in my report, I have recommendations for rain days and things that he will be allowed, which would adjust that contract time to a reasonable manner. Again, that is my recommendations. He has a request for days out there. Way I see it, we differ by about 10 days, but look, in the interest of moving forward, I'm not haggling with anybody over 10 days, but it is critical that we get these things done.
Receive information on design change of safety lookouts resulting in a change order.
Yes, the soffit down both sides of the building's approximately 300 feet long. The upper soffit did not have the proper framing to receive a standard vinyl soffit underneath. The original soffit that was put on there, when we uncovered it, actually had a channel piece that went down the fascia, or a large fascia that went down and clipped and caught one side of the soffit board, and then there was a 2x4 with another clip to catch the other side. That is just the way it was constructed back then. I can't answer it as to why it was constructed that way. That was a standard way to do that. However, moving forward, we want a better building, so we need to replace that framing, put it back in place, and construct it properly. We requested the contractor to submit a cost to do so. He did. That cost is $13,583.62. With that, I am recommending that you allow him 30 days. That allows 2 weeks per side of the building to get those lookouts in place. It is a significant amount of framing, as those lookouts are every 2 feet going down the building. So as you install them, he has to have a man lift moving along and patiently putting that in. It just takes time. But that is our recommendation.
Receive information on design change for HVAC system in main office of the 2-story building.
In the main offices, there were structural beams that were concealed by the existing ceiling. Initially, when this was initially discovered, my subcontractor, the mechanical engineer, had caught it and switched the units to wall-mounted units because we could not fit them within that structural framing. However, after meeting with the administration, they really would wish to see that those particular administrative offices have the center mount units. We then went to the contractor to see if the drop ceiling could be lowered. The cost to do so and the time framing and disturbing of offices and so forth wasn't feasible. Going back to the drawing board with our mechanical engineer, he was able to work with the contractor and his subs. We were able to find a different type of unit. It is a slimmer line unit that fits within the drop ceiling, and we were able to get that unit in at a zero-cost change order to the school board, therefore achieving the same result.
Okay. Receive information on design change from colored brick to painted stripe on 2-story building resulting in a change order.
Okay. Not sure if this item is going to result in a change order yet. However, I didn't make that particular item, but there was a design change in the brick. At the original renderings that were presented to the school board, we have the cream-colored brick, which is the brick that you see on the breezeways, and then approximately about, give or take, about midway up the building, there was going to be about an 18-inch thick colored stripe, if you will. The original design, of course, was to do that with a different type of brick. The difficulty that the contractor had, and we spoke to brick suppliers, was matching that existing brick matching that existing brick and the color, and then also finding a gray brick of the same size, standard, and so forth. So in working with the brick suppliers and so forth, we found a different type of brick that better fit the color and so forth. And at that time, when we looked at the color renderings of the painting, it was decided that, hey, we can go with all the same type of brick and apply that stripe down the side of the building via paint.
Okay. Receive information on design change for brick size and original specs to new brick size.
I kind of
So
covered that.
basically-
The reason is that the color change between the two bricks, one wasn't available in the same model and size. So they have to match, otherwise it's very difficult to install.
Okay. I, receive information on design change to include additional drop ceilings connecting two-story hall to a building hall downstairs, resulting in a change order.
Okay, I'm not,
I got it, Joe.
Okay.
What we have right now in our current design, if you ever walk into our A building downstairs and the one-story piece of the A building, there's a section where half of that area, well, walking into that area, when you make the left turn, there is no drop ceiling. So when you look up, and we don't have to do this, but I'm just saying how different it's going to look. Where your main hall, you have a drop ceiling. But then when you make a left to where the one story is at, the ceiling is back up all the way up to the top,
Yeah, it
and it's
turns
not
back.
dropped. Well, when you get past the where it kind of like meets the one story meets the two story, and then we got a drop ceiling again. So you have a section at the high school that we would not have a drop ceiling. I'm not saying we have to do this, but when you look at it from an optic standpoint, it may be an eyesore because we have one part of our building with a drop, pretty much 90% of our building with a drop ceiling, and we have a 10% that's not. Jules, if you don't mind, I would like Dwayne to kind of elaborate a little bit on this.
Absolutely.
Good evening. So like Dr. Bartholomew said, when you we just redone the inside of the A building and the lower side. And like he said, on a two-story, we're putting a brand new drop ceiling throughout the whole hallway, which we needed to do it due to the fresh air unit. So like Dr. Bartholomew said, you're gonna just have an area to where you're gonna look up and you're gonna see the old cement columns up there, and they either need to be painted or put a drop ceiling. It would look a lot better to put the drop ceiling. We had kind of kicked it around, and I asked Joseph why we didn't have it in there. He said because we were only doing the two-story building. So a little crossover where the boys and girls bathrooms at, like Dr. B says, the only section that won't have a piece with the drop ceiling in it. It's just gonna look unfinished.
I'm bringing it to the board because, I would hate for us to go into a building in that one area.
Yeah.
Everything else looks beautiful, and then that one area doesn't.
And it's just for information, but it would be a change order. We had to do it because it wasn't an original plan. And that's why I put on there, it would result into a change order if we had to do it. The same thing with the stripe on the building. We had talked in a meeting, if we didn't put the brick stripe, that we apply a change order to the painting contractor who was already there with lifts and everything else. And he would have a change order to paint the brick to put the stripe on the building.
Yeah, so.
Not at all on what this would cost.
Not at this time.
Can we bring it back? I don't know, Joe, this would be a change order for his project?
The drop ceiling?
Yeah.
The drop ceiling we would put on the project we have now for the two-story building.
Okay.
The stripe we was gonna put on with the painting contractor, like I said. So it result more of a change order on that side to have the stripe put on the building.
Joseph, can you come back with a cost estimate for that?
Yes, we sent a request. We sent a request to the painting contractor to provide pricing. I actually sent that to him today and spoke with him. I will reconnect with him when I return on Monday for that pricing and get it to you as soon as possible. I can also get with Mr. Jones. All I need to do is I'll get with Dwayne and we'll take a measurement of the area and provide him with some dimensions so that he can adequately provide you a cost.
J, receive information on design status and quotes for canopy replacement behind boys' gym.
Yes, this project was previously part of the scope that was included with the Building A wall rehabilitation. It's now being separated into its own project to hopefully acquire more specialized contractors that can build that at a more cost-effective price to the school board. If you all are aware, that canopy is covered in asbestos panels. So my office, I have contracted with Winnell White Engineering, a remediation firm as required by EPA and DEQ. They expect to have that remediation design back to me and completed by the end of next week. If that status remains, we're going to be obtaining prices within the next 2 to 3 weeks to hopefully have those prices presented to the board so that as the day school lets out, we want that contractor to start. There was discussion about trying to get them removed while the holiday was off. The difference is we have to have air quality monitoring. There's several things that have to go on. I am not comfortable with removing those panels whilst kids are here. Look, we've dealt with them. We know how to handle them. We know that they can be done safely. It is the public perception if you go try to do that, and that's what we want to avoid. We want to do this safely and do it the right way. I think we're on track to do that in a timely manner.
K, receive information on design status and quotes for grounding of welding shop.
Yes, this was another project that was originally part of the painting scope and was removed by administration and then asked for us to put it back out. We have separated or pulled those original design plans that we did. We reconfigured them and actually stamped preliminary, delivered to Dwayne's office today. If he is, I understand he has to have time to review. Please, once I receive his review and comments, we'll make the necessary changes. We'll stamp them and prepare them and go out and get the obtained quotes.
Is this a safety issue in any way?
In the welding shop?
Yeah.
There are some areas that are, it's not properly ground. It's not a safety problem to the students as it is grounded. The problem that you have is that the welding machines are actually grounded to the building itself and are causing a lot of deterioration to the paint and the metal panels due to that grounding. So what we're doing is we're providing a new grounding point that will actually bring that ground through the wall down to a rod that will go down into the ground, transferring that ground to the ground properly and isolating the building panels from that and hopefully saving further corrosion. That is one of the buildings that we were completely replacing the side metal panels, and that is one of the reasons we're having to do so is because they're grounded in that fashion.
Okay. Receive information on status, start date, and completion date for door replacement project.
Yes, the door replacement project, a notice to proceed has been issued. Doors are scheduled for delivery as of May 31st, and the contractor is scheduled to begin work on June 1st and complete ahead of the August 15th contract completion date. Right now, his current completion date is scheduled to be around August 4th. So he's still ahead of his project, but we'll know more once the actual doors arrive, and we'll stay on top of that.
Okay. Receive information on status and completion date for painting project.
The painting project, the painting project notice to proceed was issued on February 28th. The contractor has mobilized and been pressure washing and cleaning buildings and actually doing quite a bit of painting. He presented a mock-up. He actually painted the building B, two sides, the two different color schemes and shades. Administration went out there, took a look at it, was able to get a good idea of what this was going to look like. We then presented those color schemes to the contractor, and he is moving forward. As of today, he has completed the stadium press box, as well as by tomorrow or by the end of the week, he expects to complete the field house, and then the schedule is then to move to the micro center buildings, which I touch on further in this report. What we're trying to do is complete all of those outer buildings that are not necessarily occupied while school is going on, so that May 26 or 27, as soon as those kids are out and he's able to get in there, he can then tackle those buildings full force where occupancy is at its most. He's already completed building L. That was pressure wash, clean, and touch-up doors. So as of right now, he is on schedule to finish ahead of his completion date. The current contract completion date is September 6th. I have sent out an email requesting a meeting with administration and the contractor next week on site so that we can go over if there are any outstanding questions. Are there any issues that they're seeing? Is there anything we need to address so that we can get it answered in a timely fashion and keep him moving in this direction?
Receive information on AHS Micro Center handrails.
Yes. Bear with me. Yep. The contracted construction is complete, and we have full occupancy. I had reported to you at your previous meeting that the guardrails were to be delivered on March 25th, and then installed. As it stands, I received a call on March 13th, the day after your meeting, at about 8:30 at night, from a delivery company saying he was in front of the school getting ready to drop off the panels. Sometimes we do what we have to do. I hopped in the car with my son. We took delivery of the panels. The contractor was out there the next day, and he was able to get them installed. So that work as scheduled is complete.
Thank you.
Okay. Receive information on Pierreport Elementary security project and the cleaning and painting of school buildings.
Hello, good evening. I'm Tommy Eising with DDG. So this opinion of probable cost for the security improvements and the painting is based on our walk we did with the administration at Pierreport Primary School. So these are the, I could go through the items. Item number 1 is a single point entry and reception office in the current library. That would be estimated at $150,000. The fencing and gate with approximately 1,000 linear feet of chain link fence at 8 feet high and 9 pedestrian gates is $180,000. We would paint 3 of the buildings on site, the gymnasium, the library, and the white classroom building. That's estimated at $80,000. And then provide a new ground-mounted LED monument sign at $45,000. The construction subtotal is $455,000. We added in a contingency with all renovation, this complexity. And as the design evolves, we'd know more and lower the contingency. So the total with the design fee and the survey is $582,750. And then, at this time, you don't have to accept any of this. You could just kind of pick and choose the items you want to include in the project scope.
And also, I want to say we will be replacing and fixing the canopy. This is outside of this project, but I've been working with Dwayne, and we're going to make sure that the canopy, when you it's right by the circle drive, that we're going to make sure that we fix that area too, sandblast, paint, as well as fix all of those panels. Talking to Ms. Nicole, there is those panels are leaking, so we need to replace all of that as well. So, in addition to which, we don't have the estimated cost. Mr. Wayne probably will bring that to us next board meeting. In addition to this, we also going to be fixing that. So I just want to make sure we clear on the additional.
Include the fencing also, this place?
Yes, ma'am. The fencing is in here. If you look at the photo, you can kind of see you have 2 options here. So the first, the option that we're looking at is connecting buildings to buildings. The other option, which we decided not to bring forward, only because the church and a lot of community, they like to use the field for different events, and we work with our local businesses and the churches in our community. But if we was to fence in the entire property, they would not have access to that area. So we decided to bring forward connecting buildings to buildings and making sure we fence in that area for safety reasons, not going around the entire property. And that would stop the kids from coming in from the back, as well as the church for using that field area. But this way, the church still would have access to it, because we're not going outside of our buildings, and also for the kids and the parents that live in the community, they can still walk up to the school. But if the board would like, we'll go around the entire thing and we'll just close everything off, and then no one would have access to the field unless you go through a specific area, and it'll only be subject to the school. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Now, we have a lot of children that walks through back.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
school.
They would have to come all the way around, and like the beach said, they would have no access to the field far from the church.
Okay.
The way it's gonna be set up is that,
Get up. Come on up.
So-
Mr.
So
Tommy,
the
don't
way,
mind.
the way if you look at Tommy's plan, the way we did it, we connected building to building. So once the kids come into the school or anybody enters the front of the school, if they need to go to any classrooms, they can free flow through all the fenced areas, building to building, class to class, and no one has to go outside. So the only time they would be exposed is on the playground or whatever. But if they would have to run back inside the gated area, they can run back in and then they would be secured all the way around inside that area as well. We've done it at other schools as well, just to connect buildings.
So the play area would not be gated.
On the back of the school, the large yard in the back, no ma'am.
Isn't the point for us to have the kids safe and
We just done the
gated?
same thing at Napoleonville Primary. We done that one and we couldn't do that backyard for reasons as well. It's very difficult the way our schools are. It can be done. We can do a lot of it. There's gonna be a lot of inconvenience for people. It's not a problem like Dr. B said. If the board wants the entire campus fenced in, we can.
But our job is to keep the kids safe, not to
I'm not
convenience
disagreeing,
the
I'm not disagreeing with
neighborhood.
you. That's why we're bringing the plan to you. If you don't like this plan, we can change this plan and bring it back to you. This is not being voted on, accepted tonight. It's just for information. So that's why we're here. So if it raises concern, then we can go back to the drawing board and we can come up with another number to include the entire campus in the fence.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that would be good. That would be perfect.
We couldn't do it at the high school because we had fenced in the whole high school. When you have people in and out of the stadium, we would cut the public completely off.
Just be mindful
That way
that
we
we're
can have
gonna
both.
close in the football field as well, because if we're gonna put a fence up, that's gonna.
We actually came with that plan and it was very expensive.
Gonna be
And
like
it was
one-
very inconvenient and somebody had to monitor the gate to let deliveries in. And it's just the way that our schools are designed. Napoleonville Middle has a driveway right through the middle of it.
Yeah.
You know, Napoleonville Primary was a little easier to do because of the way it was set
And we
up.
could provide a vehicle gate to be open, like when that church fair happens, we would put a vehicle gate on the, like, south, well, towards the church side, and that could be just left open that particular weekend.
Right.
And the remaining times, it's closed.
Yeah, it'd be great to have both options.
So the church uses it.
Look at them, yeah, and discuss.
And also, don't forget, the community, the kids that come from the back, because there's no monitoring of that gate, so that, it's almost, I just want to be clear, we don't want to defeat the purpose, because if we leave the gate open, that means anybody could come at any time on the backside of that campus.
It gets really complex when you provide card access to a student who lives in the neighborhood to walk through a back gate, because then like they may give that card to someone else and they lose that card.
Right.
So you really want that student to continue to go around to the front of
So,
campus.
so just understand that those parents, those students would have to walk all the way around to the front of the building, so just.
Doing by Lures. They don't go through the back gate.
I want to touch on one more project, the Biolus primary modular building site work that we're doing there. We're going to receive bids on May 6th. Your next meeting is May 7th, so we'll get on the agenda for the May 7th meeting, but I won't have numbers for you until the day before. And it's just a quick turnaround, so we'll have that on the next agenda.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dwayne, the canopies, that's going to be an in-house project? Or are we, okay.
So we do the canopies, Dr. B and I talked about it. So we're gonna do the canopies. I'm gonna take that project and we're gonna get 3 quotes on it.
Gotcha.
And if it needs to go to bid, which I don't think it's gonna meet that number.
Okay.
Then we'll go to bid, but I could get 3 local contractors to come in and give us numbers fairly quick. I've had a conversation with a few of them already, so I just need one more that would come in and give us that third price to, receive the 3 quotes to be within the law.
Perfect.
Okay, I heard several change orders and money. Is that to be voted on?
Yeah, it's coming up, it's coming up,
Okay,
yep,
I didn't see it. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
yep, it's coming up.
Receive information on PPE French Hall HVAC project.
So we just met again today. That project had went out to bid. We didn't get anyone to bid on it. We had 3 different contractors come in today. They seem very interested. 2 of them have worked for us before. One of them's at the high school now. One of them has done Labadville Primary. They did a great job. We had like I said, we had the pre-bid this morning. We should receive bids on the 29th. So after that, we'll come back to the board for approval of that project. And that project's at $325,000 with a $36,000 design fee, depending on the cost of the bids when they come in.
Okay.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you. Approve change order number 2 for the project known as AHS Building A Exterior Wall Rehabilitation. I need a motion
So move.
by Mr. Lewis, second by Ms. Boutin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Or,
Excuse me.
oops, sorry.
I just need one decision made by the board, and that is how many days do you wish to grant? If you, according to the recommendations I made, he's owed currently 25 days of inclement weather and approximately 40 days for the additional work. That would be the total of 65 days. That would bring him to June 19th. He is requesting 75 days. I don't think it's worth squabbling over 10 days. I do think, fully understanding that we have to get this project done, but we also have to allow him the proper time to do so.
Yeah, I think the board just approved the change order as
As it
been
is.
submitted.
Submitted with the 75? Yes, sir.
As long as it's done before school starts next year.
Excuse me?
So that would be well in advance of next year, and that's all we're going to worry about. So
Yes, sir.
as it is, yeah.
Thank you.
Or approve relocation of Libertyville Primary School to Libertyville Middle School campus for 2026-2027 school year.
So moved.
Before I ask for any motions, I believe that this is Ms. Boutin's agenda, so I will allow her to begin discussion, and then we can follow up with any questions, requests, information, et cetera. I need a motion. Moved by Ms. Barris. Second by Mr. Washington. Okay, and Ms. Boutin, the floor is for you.
First of all, I want to say thank you, Mr. Dwayne, for giving us that information at the last meeting. It was very informative.
We can't hear her.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Better? I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Dwayne for giving us that information at the last meeting. We really needed to see that. And also, I wanted to thank you to all of the people in the community who reached out to me with concerns about the kids moving to LPS. I do feel like what Mr. Dwayne presented us, we needed to see. And I feel like LPS is where the kids need to be for this upcoming school year, but I do think that LMS is the campus where the kids need to be in the future. So being that we put all of that money in there prior to the consolidation, that was before the consolidation. That was before the consolidation was even finalized. But moving forward, we need to put money into LMS to make it the fit school for the kids.
Discussion.
Yeah, I'll agree with Ms. Boutin about that too, that the way that Dwayne explained it was definitely what needed to happen, which is why we made the change, because we couldn't accomplish the move. We couldn't accomplish the move of that entire school this year, and leaving the younger kids where they are this year and having a whole year to plan and think out a move and to make that successful. I think that was the intent behind the keeping them there this year, was leaving that school, the little kids where they are, and then having a whole year to
To fix
mitigate
it and make the adjustments that's
make the
needed. I mean,
adjustments.
that's impossible to do in 4 months.
And we're not doing that with any other site. So everybody else is staying at their at their primaries, which is the same thing we're going to do this year to keep the kids there, have a year to work on any issues, and I agree with that.
I think according to Mr. Dwayne's recommendations, utilizing the LPS site this year is definitely practical. It addresses immediate needs while allowing us to prepare the LMS site, if that passes, as a future home of Libertyville Elementary School during the vacancy, ensuring like maximum access, minimum, disruption for staff, community, families, that sort of thing. So I can understand.
And this also doesn't disrupt or change any educational plan or organizational plan. It's just the physical location, which is logistically better for us this year to use the primary site and then be able to work on that, which is.
Mr. Dwayne.
Why the
I
kids
agree.
not in there?
Is that accurate? Is that a good fix?
What is, Ray?
So, a good
Proposal
fix
right here
in,
we're looking at.
what exactly are you asking is a good fix?
Yeah.
Is it doable for the 26, 27
Anything's
school
doable
year?
with money, and I tell people all the time, so that's gonna be up to the board if they wanna spend the money to make it doable. Like Dr. Bartholomew said, we can make either facility work. What I did when I came to the last board meeting, I didn't come with a recommendation, I came with information. Just to make you all aware so you can make the decision that you needed to make. All I wanted to do was tell you how much money we spent in the past, and if it was relevant to your decision, it was fine. If you wanted to move to the middle school and make it the elementary school, that can be done. It will cost us to do it, which I have no problem doing. It's just another project on the list. It can be done. I do find some of the classrooms are a little bit smaller, but we can work around that if we need to. I don't live inside the buildings with the children, so to tell you if it's gonna be the best fix, it is a nice facility. Labradorville Middle is a very nice facility. It's one of our nicer schools. It's been well maintained. And it's just, like Dr. Bartholomew said, we can make either one work. It's gonna be a board decision on where you all want to put them and what facility you want to use and what money you want to spend.
Okay, so what are your plans on spending on the primary school this year? Are you planning on spending?
That's going to depend on what school you choose. If you decide to use Labradorville Primary, I'm going to move forward with projects. If that's going to be the school we use, I'm going to start moving forward with projects there. If you decide that next year we're going to go to Labradorville Middle School, then I'm going to hold off and do my projects at Labradorville Middle, not at Labradorville Primary. I'm not going to spend any more money leaving a facility.
So that's what you're telling me tonight is the kids will move in next year again in the same school building in the primary, and you will not spend any money to upgrade it, that we don't need to do anything, that they can just move in there for 1 year, and then you will be spending the money on the middle school.
That is correct.
Yeah, we have.
This, y'all decision.
I think we need to reiterate that when we started on this consolidation project, Dr. B made it clear that it was not because of money. It was to provide resources for the students. And that's what we need to do. We need to provide those resources for the students, give them the best school possible. We promised that to the community of Labradorville, and that's what we need to do.
And the board also knows that we are going to have to spend capital outlay over the next years with adding a gym in Napoleonville, adding a gym in Belrose. So we know we're going to have to spend the money, to Ms. Andrea's point. We're not saving the money. We're going to need to spend money to upgrade, because if the Napoleonville primary site is the site. Belrose Primary is the site. We need to add a gym there. We need to add classrooms there, hopefully, in the future too. So we know we're going to be spending the money. We just need to allocate it efficiently.
And it's not just about next year or the next 5 years. We're talking about, because look, Assumption Parish does everything long-term. We're talking about the next 30 years. I mean, Bylaws has been in portable buildings for 40 years.
Exactly.
And my answer to you was, why didn't you ask for a permanent building? know
I
we
did
wanna
in
do
2004, and y'all
but
turned me down.
Now that we're gonna move the fifth and sixth graders there, I think y'all deserve permanent buildings.
Well, we're in
That's my
discussions for that.
opinion on it.
Well, I think we should be going in that direction.
Yep.
I mean,
As
we
proposed.
we appreciate you looking out for it,
Absolutely.
so, much appreciated. Okay.
Said that earlier, we trust, you've been in these facilities for over 20 years. We trust that you have these facilities in your heart 100%. And we value everything that you tell us and recommend to us, so. And Dwayne has already proposed and
We got a
started
motion
talking
and a
about
second.
adding a permanent building in By Lewis, so.
We have, so we do have a motion and we do have a second,
So we're
so.
not through, somebody else might want to discuss, have some
Anybody?
discussion.
else? Anybody else? I'm sorry. Anybody else? Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. 8, comments and announcements from board members or administrators? Anybody has anything to say?
I would like to move forward with Bylaws. If we could start that ball rolling, I would very much appreciate it.
So we can look into it.
On the next agenda for
It's on the
discussion.
official record.
We didn't hear you, Andrea. We didn't hear you.
Andrea's requesting this to be added to the next agenda for discussion, By Lewis, permanent building in By Lewis.
Oh, from the bill?
Discussion, yes, sir.
I just want to, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, finish.
I just want to thank Ms. Brandy again. I know I said thank you personally, face to face, and I also thank you in our 5 o'clock meeting. You have done a phenomenal job bringing us through this riff. I cannot speak highly more than I'm already speaking of you. The work that you did over the last few weeks and months is above bar. So kudos to you. I'm glad you are working in Assumption Parish. I'm glad you're on our team. Congratulations on a job well done. I know you're not finished, but you know, you've got ahead of this. You communicated to our employees, you communicated to the board, you communicated to the community, and you're moving forward with a phenomenal plan. So again, I want to say congratulations, but also more importantly, thank you.
I do have an announcement for our Assumption FFA Rodeo is not this Friday, but next Friday, April 25th, and Saturday, April 26th, excuse me, at 7:30 p.m. at night. And there's also the Special Needs Rodeo, the Saturday, April 26th from 10 a.m. to noon. It's an amazing event. Don't want to miss it. FFA students and alumni work extremely hard, and it shows. A great family event. I'd also like to say Happy Easter to everybody, and have a great break. Anybody else?
So I sit on the board for the Louisiana Partnership for the Arts, and we were at the Capitol today. And we have recently formed, through an advocacy committee, an arts caucus for the legislature. So pretty soon, we have a committee of 6 or 7 of us for it's a statewide nonprofit. So pretty soon, I'm going to be calling on you guys to help and provide a voice for our administration to provide advice and guidance and comments on arts education in rural parishes, because that's one of our initiatives with the Senate and the House. We were excited to be there today with them in the legislature to announce this caucus, which has 34 of our legislators in it. Currently, we're looking for more members, but I'm going to value your input and parents and families that have had kids in the arts throughout the years. That way we can inform arts education in the future and bring our standards and curriculum up from the early 90s to modern standards. So we started that work today, and we'll be continuing that through session and through the year.
Thank you.
Mr. Caleb Jones is here with Jones Construction. He's the contractor on the 2-story building. And he requested if he could make a comment if we had a public comment. Okay.
Not at this time. We can't allow for public comment, but thank you. A motion to adjourn. Moved by Ms. Dugas, second by Mr. Avar. Motion adjourned.